little thing.
I'll be honest, out of that match, I'd rather have Tyler Bate as the NXT champion. I can't lie, but maybe that's a bit biased, I suppose.
Tyler Bate is very
I
good.
adore Bate. Ridiculously good. Other one I had thought about maybe with Grayson Waller. If Grayson Waller doesn't come up, then face Hayes and win it there. Yeah. Unless it's hard. Who else would be in that picture if Carmelo is only a transition?
Waller's a good shout, to be fair.
If he doesn't come up. Yeah. I think then we're on to Mania.
Yeah.
So yes, night 1 was up next for not SmackDown, WrestleMania. And we finished by talking about Theory in NXT, and we start by talking about Theory in night 1, because I don't think anything happened in the pre-show. Did it? There was no match, that's for sure.
No,
and it was a bit like another 2 hours of us doing nothing.
2 hours of nothing, it's just pointless.
I don't know, we laughed at a few signs. We laughed at a few signs, like Dominic eating corn.
Yes, Dominic eating corn's the long way.
I love the pre-show and some of the comments and some of the signs. It makes the pre-show now for me.
I mean, to be fair, the pre-show for us now is literally just for us to sit, talk, get all of the nonsense that we need to talk about out of the way, so that when the show actually starts, we can concentrate on the show a little bit more. A little bit, not completely, because we're still pretty terrible, but. It gives us that bit more of an ability to focus once the show itself starts.
They really need to bring even if it's just a completely impromptu something.
The thing is, I like it because I like it the way it is, because we do our predictions, and instead of it being rushed, we can have a bit of a chat and a bit of a debate about it as well.
Mania's a 2-hour pre-show.
But I don't. At any point, during the weekend, and I'm going to be honest here, at any point during the weekend, during those pre-shows, did you feel that you were sat there just waiting?
I enjoyed it.
Because I didn't.
I'll be honest, I found things to do.
Yeah,
exactly. At no point during those pre-shows,
I made some things for Twitch and stuff during the pre-show, so they did come in handy.
But what I'm saying is, at no point during those pre-shows did I sit there and think, this is too long and I'm really bored.
Yeah.
I think the reason, sorry, Pete, I know I moan a lot about the finish times of stuff. So for me, I'm thinking, why can't it just start at 12 and finish at 4? And I get an extra hour's kip. That's all I think about, really.
Oh, well, there's a very easy answer for that. It's because you're not American.
Yeah, well, this is it.
For Americans, starting later is the better time.
Night one, their press conference in LA started at 10 o'clock for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a good time for a press conference to start. That's like their run time must have been perfect. It must be for LA. I'm guessing that what would that have been then? So 10 o'clock finish. They must have been
5 a.m. for us.
They must have been like a 6 o'clock start for them.
And don't forget,
perfect, really, and then 6 till 10 on a Saturday.
It was pretty much perfect time for NXT to finish. Go grab a bit of food, get to the stadium, and get in.
Yeah, but Pete, I'm old. They should care about me, not them.
You know what?
They don't.
Specifically, it's over the line.
A couple of times,
just me.
A couple of times during the predictions, I'm like, we better get started on these because we're going to run out of time before the actual event starts.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it because I know we have a bit of a debate about them.
Yeah, I mean, but when it did start, I thought it was very good. The show. Don't get me wrong. I was happy with this first result. I was unhappy with how they decided to book it. But the match itself was still good. I hate a low blow shot. So Theory wins by a low blow shot to John Cena, which was a bit...
Yeah, but it's a proper heel thing,
it's
though,
isn't it? It's a proper heel thing,
especially
after they've had the Make-A-Wish kids out. So him doing a proper heelish thing whilst the Make-A-Wish kids... Link's pulling a face that you guys cannot sing, but it is so true that he has made an absolute heel move to a guy that is the most... He's granted the most wishes... And he's punched that guy in the nuts on his return to WrestleMania. Monster heel move.
I'll tell you what I liked. Am I right? Did Theory come out first?
Yeah.
Theory.
Right,
Yes.
Theory had the grand entrance and it revealed that stage and everything.
That was the
his entrance
perfect
was
thing.
great, by the way.
The cameraman followed him out, so
Yeah.
you got to see it as he see that crowd.
Yeah, that's an
and
unreal
that's the
stadium.
first time we really see it.
I really enjoyed that entrance.
Brilliant.
Really, really enjoyed that entrance.
That was clever.
Yeah. No, it was outstanding. The match was brilliant. I thought as a good way to start, but like I said, I'm not happy with the low blow, but I'm happy with the result. The way we still got Theory as champion. He's a good heel.
I felt there was a lot they could have done with the finish. So to just reduce it to a low blow just cheapened it for me.
Again, it
is a really good heel move,
but also does it not make
other things he could have done?
Does it not also make Cena look really strong though as well though? That he's not lost to A-Town Down. He's lost to being smacked in the nuts. Like he could still come back, and if they wanted to stick him in like a main title match and then potentially win it, even at his age, then it could still be somewhat believable. He's still got Super Cena.
Done.
Of course he's done. He's done, but it's nice to have that backup option for Saudi and things, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it's done perfect because it was the passing of the torch and Cena's last. I would go as far as saying Cena's last main competitive match ever, and I think that was done. And he passed it to I said it a few times that night. Theory reminds me of the Thugonomics Cena.
Yeah,
it was just Cena 20 years ago, and this is like, yep, now you go, and you are going to be the next John Cena.
At one point, the universe were begging Cena to bring back the Doctor of Thugonomics.
You've got it now. In theory, the same. This is going to be the future of the company.
I get that. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. And like I say, he's so young. Like we are quite lucky, really. There is quite a lot of good people that are around their sort of age that have the chance to carry the company for a long, long time. Because at one point it was looking like it's looking like who's going to be the one to step up, and now we've got about 5, maybe 6 of them. That I'm like, yeah, okay, the company's in quite safe hands now. Because once your taker starts going. Even people like Brock, Cena, Orton, Batista, they're all getting to the end of their careers, and you're starting to think, who's next?
They went through a phase where they were relying on alumni to bring crowds in because the current roster was struggling. So they were bringing back legends to get people excited for the product.
Yeah, they just didn't have the name power.
Yeah,
they don't need to do that now.
No, they've done well with building. Actually, it's the one thing I've thought for a while that the building has been very good of a lot of names. And then we'll go into the next match whilst we're talking about it, because there's a couple of names in this that I think have also got some star power amongst them, and one of them's Angelo Dawkins, and that's just bonkers. By the way,
you wouldn't have said that 8 months ago, would you?
That Dawkins versus Montez Ford, they defeated Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders. And
Dan, I'm gonna call you out because you've done that twice now. This match wasn't Dawkins versus Angelo Ford.
Sorry,
it was the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders.
Sorry,
such a bitch, isn't he?
He is such a bitch.
You've done it a couple of times. That you read out a tag team and you go versus in the middle of it. It's like they're on the same team.
Yeah,
not against each other.
Suck your mum. Move it on. Street Profits won. All right.
I remember during the pre-show saying I remember calling the Street Profits to actually take this, and I remember saying when Ford was given his solo in the Elimination Chamber, how much he showed up for it and how well he's doing, and you lot have even said yourself how much Dawkins has improved.
Both members of the Street Profits team are doing absolutely fantastic work at the moment, and I would say that they are very much on the same level as the Usos right now.
That's a statement, isn't it?
They're being wasted in stupid backstage segments.
I don't think they're staying there though. This is the thing. I think they are destined to split at some point. As much as we don't want it to be rushed because they're gold together. I personally hate the fucking gimmick. I just don't like the whole thing that they've got. But as wrestlers and as their ability is fantastic, their charisma is second to none. They are a complete package rather than just good at one part of it.
Does make me think though, are we going to get a split? Because we've said this for New Day, how good they would be individually, and I don't know if we would. If we're going to get a Street Profits split.
New Day are better as a faction than individuals. Yeah, we've had like Kofi Mania and they put the
They can still have their single runs, but will we get a split? Will we get them turn on each other? I don't know if we will.
I think New Day are the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, I don't think you can do anything to judge what New Day have done.
They struggled as solo competitors compared to being in their faction.
Well, that's not true, but
that's what I felt anyway.
The reason that New Day are the exception as well is because there's three of them, so one of them can go solo and the other two are still a team, and then they switch it round so a different one's solo and they're still a team. It's so they've still got that team option, and they're all still the group as friends regardless.
Yeah.
So it's more of a stable than a tag team for the New Day. That's the difference.
Yeah.
They are in a class of their own, really, because they're different to the others that the company's got.
If they were to split the Street Profits, then what can you see them doing with Dawkins?
I don't think they will now, to be honest. I'd be surprised if it happens in the next year. But I think Dawkins has stepped up. I honestly think Dawkins is quite capable now of not getting lost in the mix. Montez Ford, I've said for a while now, I'd love to see Ford go heel. Thrive. I think I'd love to see Montez Ford go heel with Bianca at the same time. I'd love to see the pair of them going heel. Ford,
I've said it from day one, as a future world champion.
Yeah.
With the right build, the right push, he's a future world champion. Yeah. Dawkins easily in the mid card with the Intercontinental and the US title. Easily.
Also, I think it's well worth saying that Dawkins could easily carry NXT as well, by the way. If they wanted to do something like that. I think Dawkins could easily carry the whole company.
I think it'd be a waste to put him back down.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends for me, because if at one point they were going to try and put NXT to the same moniker as SmackDown and Raw, and then COVID hit, and I think it could still be done. And I would love to see someone like Dawkins get a bit of respect that he deserves and be one of those people that help carry that company back up to where it was originally before COVID.
Talking of respect, Chad Gable.
Oh, I was going to get onto that.
Yeah,
Chad was unreal in that match.
Thank you.
Absolutely unreal in that match.
That move on to Strowman. That move on Strowman was mental.
That rolling suplex was.
I said this at several points over the weekend. Chad Gable is the next Kurt Angle.
He should have always been the next Kurt Angle.
He's got the in-ring ability that just is unreal. He's got the intensity when he needs it. He's got the smarts because he's intelligent, and he's got the comedy factor. He is the perfect package. I just wish he was slightly taller.
I knew you was going to say that, but yeah, you're right.
Me too.
Because genuinely, give that guy an extra 6 inches, like height-wise, and he would be main event right now. 100%.
Fuck
he would
me,
be
6 inches is a lot, mate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but give him 6 inches. Make him 6 inches taller. That guy would be main event right now. He would be in the Cody Rhodes spot.
Yeah, it does still work. Look at him picking up Strowman and doing that. Even we thought he can't do it. He did.
I think
it was fantastic.
Do you know what I'd actually love to see? I'd love to see a Chad Gable versus Tyler Bate feud. That would be phenomenal. They're very similar wrestlers. Both could do with a bit more height, but absolute tanks.
Do you want me to say what I wouldn't want to see again, though?
What's that?
Otis's sweaty ass.
Oh, yeah. With the yellow pants. I felt bad for him. It didn't go well. It was very sweaty. It was very grim. It was
a great match, though. This whole match.
I can't believe you text me, Phil, saying this whole shit himself.
Otis shit himself, yeah. It was that match. It's the match on the card that you think instantly when you see it, piss break, how wrong everybody was.
Yeah.
We were
all
only
8 minutes, mind.
Yeah,
it was only 8 minutes.
It was a fantastic match, start to finish, like really, really good match.
Every single wrestler come out looking really strong.
Yeah,
even Strowman come out looking really good. All of them.
I mean,
Strowman's spot.
Oh my god!
Dawkins fucking surprised the hell out of me with that.
Jeez, that tackle, man.
Strowman's running round in circles. I'm not a fan of that.
It's boring.
Personally.
It was fine to start off with, and it's just got a bit boring. The whole Strowman train.
Yeah.
Move it on.
It worked for that bit, though.
Should we move on to the next match? Because that was only 8 minutes. We spoke quite a lot about that, to be fair. I can't lie. So, yeah.
It was good.
It was
lot
good.
happened.
But we also had what I would consider one of these absolute brilliant Mania matches that only really worked at Mania, because we had Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul with KSI in a Prime bottle.
This Prime bottle by any chance, do you mean? This one?
I do, funnily enough. Yeah, you sad child.
Let's start the entrance.
You have issues. You really need to stop drinking.
He had that prepped.
I enjoyed a drink. I didn't actually.
No, you
I didn't think about doing it that way. But yeah.
Let's start right at the beginning. How amazing would it be giving Logan a live mic on his birthday and giving him a zip wire?
Fuck. This whole match, I thought, was done so well.
Yeah.
That it started off with the entrance perfectly. Seth got a win. We had Logan attacking KSI, which was brilliant in itself. Logan Paul impressed us again every time, like he does. Like he's a fan. Like him or hate him.
Deal's done now, isn't it? He only signed for the year.
Sorry.
No, you'll get another deal.
I think he'll get another deal. The fact that we got Puerto Rico next, I would be very surprised if he doesn't end here in Puerto Rico.
I've said it's whether he wants it.
I'm
going to be honest.
Go
on. I think that this was Logan Paul's worst match.
But that also doesn't say a lot, because he's had some brilliant matches, mate.
I think it was his worst one, but it was still a very good match. I think
he's athletically great.
Do you know what?
I love his frog splash. I know you were critical of it before because you didn't think he did the whole tuck, but his frog splash is brilliant.
This is interesting. I've just thought. We said on the stream, the only way Logan wouldn't maybe sign a new contract, he doesn't need the money. He wants to try other things. One of the things he said he wouldn't mind trying in the future is UFC.
Well, this is it. Actually, it's a fair point.
We'll get on to that.
But yeah, that may come into play with Logan actually signing a deal. So yeah, that's quite the possibility. But good match, good Mania moments.
It gave the fans the big spot. The fans loved it.
Yeah,
with KSI,
and it was nice that it was a feel good match. Not the biggest feel good match of the night, I will add, but it was still right up there. We then had Trish Stratus, Lita, Becky Lynch Damage Control match.
It wasn't bad.
No,
it wasn't bad. No,
we said all of the women did really well. Lita's very slow.
Yeah.
I think that
was our biggest criticism for the whole match. Was Lita is slow.
I think
it's not that she's bad; she's just slower than she used to be, and it shows.
It's like she's going in slow mo, isn't it? Bless her.
Yeah, I did say the amount of spots and crazy stuff she did. It was going to take its toll. It's just a realization it's finally happened.
Yeah. It was mentioned during the match, like she picked up some big injuries.
I mean, she is 47.
This is the thing, and I think it's just Trish.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Trish has kept herself in such good shape because she's a yoga instructor. She does all this still. Lita will the spots, like I said, the spot she had was going to take its toll.
I enjoyed the appearance of the Mitchell brothers in this match. It was very good. That definitely added something to the match.
Added a couple of things to the match.
It added a couple of things for sure.
Me and Bob said Pep Guardiola and Eric Ten Hag was there.
So for me, like this match, it's a harsh one because this match was the worst card of the night. But night one was really good, so it doesn't say a lot.
We said that.
You know, it's. I think every other match was better than this. But I think you can discount one because the other one was so short. But again, the people that win that was brilliant as well. So, but we'll get to that.
I also think though the bad thing is, Damage Control's just shown they're finished now.
Yeah, and that was emphasised last night on Raw as well. They're done, which is like oh my god, we've got another. This is just the female version of Retribution. There was so much build and so much hype for it, and then.
I think Miz's match might have been the worst match on the card, actually.
Honestly, don't.
As a match, maybe, yeah. As a match, maybe. As a moment, no. Miz's match was better than this.
Yeah.
after Mania now, what do they do with Damage Control? Because they've got no momentum.
I think they're splitting them.
Lost
I think they're splitting them. We'll get onto that when we talk about Raw.
Well, I'll make a little prediction now that we were talking about it already earlier on the NXT show. I could see Dakota Kai and Io Sky being Alba Fire and their what the other one is, Isla Dawn.
Would you keep them back to NXT?
I don't think permanently. I don't think permanently, but I could definitely see them going down and potentially having a little feud there.
We were saying earlier on, it was like the hope they have a run with the tag team titles, and I'm sitting there thinking, I can't think of many teams that are going to be challenging them.
They're going to get lost in the shuffle. The only reason that they've ended up here is because they were both being released, and everyone's gone, oh, that's really sad because they're actually pretty good. And then Triple H took over the company and then signed them as a contract, and then he stuck them with Bayley because it was
a good film moment.
Yeah, it was a good film moment, and that's the only reason that they've ended up on the main roster. Really, I don't think Dakota Kai is good enough. She's very, very injury prone. Io Sky maybe, but again, I'd say she's too slight to be main roster. Like to be the actual absolute.
Io was talented. I think she would do well as a singles competitor.
They definitely
she will.
She's got the talent.
But I'm not. Honestly, though, actually, that's the other thing. Dakota Kai and Io Sky I'd probably still have I'd still have as NXT Women's Champions.
Yeah, they would still shine there.
So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with them.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that one as well a little bit on Raw, I suppose. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Better match than I thought. I can't lie.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything from this match, and I was pleasantly surprised.
The fact that they gave him a good 15 minutes as well.
Told perfectly again. This whole match was.
I'm so glad.
Viva la Rasta!
Brilliant entrance.
Oh my
Brilliant
god!
Entrance. Well,
low rider.
We started off with a terrible entrance, I thought, and then we had a really good entrance. It was a good Mania moment. The terrible one.
I thought Scott Steiner was coming out. I was like, oh yeah, holla,
yeah, with the prison van, and it's just like as a Mania thing, it was great. Condom. But yeah, as a Mania thing, it's great. But as a thing that I care about, I was like, I don't give a shit. Why are we still running with this?
If they were going to do that, they should have done Dom's promos from a video package from prison, and this should have been the first time we see him face to face.
Well, this is it. Like, even in the promos, the build-up, they didn't really mention the fact that he's supposedly a con now. And it was they dropped it a while ago, and then all of a sudden he appears in a prison van. It's like, okay, right, fine.
It was like Christmas that he went to prison, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He just got out.
I'm literally waiting for someone to come out with some video footage of him, just because it was Christmas. He was literally just in like an overnight holding cell and just
after Hall of Fame, yeah.
When they walked out.
Yeah,
they walked out, so they arrested him.
Mate, you say you've done hard time, but look.
We already know what happened. He got held. He literally got held. He was in cell for like 6 hours. That was it.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't my favourite thing, but the Rey entrance was really good.
That made everyone forget. That made everyone forget about Dom's.
Probably my favourite WrestleMania driver of all time.
What, Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg driving Rey Mysterio to the ring.
No. I'd have Snoop Dogg, Will.
Why?
We had DDP.
I'd rather Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, but that was with Hungry something.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I'd rather Snoop.
It was nice they honoured Eddie as well in it. You know, they played Viva La Raza. They brought the lowrider in.
It would have been weird if they hadn't. To be fair, that's why. It would have.
I really wanted it to be Dom, but
it should. It was weird that it was Rey. Like I'll be honest. Like
it should have been Dom.
This was that moment to pass that legacy on to Dom.
Yeah. Let him come out
and let Dom use
that.
He could have used the lie, cheat, and steal mantra.
Yeah.
Would it give? Well, it's not like that. It would give him that rub.
Could you imagine
the Eddie connection to this new up and coming career, which would have been able to he'd have been able to use that for years to come. Whereas instead they were like, no, we're just going to give it to your dad, and that's it because Ray's going to retire soon, and that'll be the end of it. And it's just like,
yeah.
I've got a question for you then.
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Yep.
you all said you couldn't see where Dom would go after Judgment Day. Do you still feel the same now, or do you feel he's developed?
I think he'd
as
get
a
absolutely
performer?
lost if they put him as a singles still.
I still think he'll struggle solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of his current rivalry and his stable, he's got nothing at the moment still.
See, I'm going to disagree because I think he's a very good heel, and I think he could do well as a solo on his own heel. I do.
But what sort of feuds would you put him in? Because at the moment, the only feud he's ever been in is with his dad, and
that works.
it works because there's a big connection. If you put him into a different feud, I just don't see the passion being there for him yet.
I think I don't know who he'll feud him with, but I think whoever he does go in with, he would have to be the heel, and I think he would play that very well.
I don't disagree. And by the looks of it, I think we're probably going to get in with Bad Bunny.
We're definitely getting that in Puerto Rico. Oh, we're getting that in Puerto Rico for Backlash.
Yeah.
Feels like Bad Bunny's back.
Yeah, he loves a bit of Bad Bunny. I remember how excited Phil was and how good he thought he was, and then he's watched the match again. He was very good, mate. But you definitely didn't.
But John Morrison's better.
Yeah, well, you didn't realise I think you realised on reflection just how much Morrison gave for Bad Bunny for his first match.
Yeah.
He's not a terrible wrestler, do not get me wrong. But yeah, for a celebrity standard anyway. But yeah, no, John Morrison definitely helped that guy. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's just see what happens with Dominic versus Bad Bunny, which is obviously something that was happening last night on Raw.
That match was told well though at Mania.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if the match was told well. I think this match was just fucking brilliant. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Oh, fantastic.
Question.
Match. Fantastic match. Go on.
Is this the best women's match in the last 5 years?
Last 5 years?
5, because Sasha Banks and Charlotte were just before that.
I'd say yes.
Which is why I've said it, because Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair was my favourite one before that. Was their little feuds that they had. They're like last women standing matches. I thought they were fucking brilliant, those ones with Sasha. And that's saying something about Sasha.
For me, it's the most memorable in the last 5 years.
See, for me, the most memorable was the triple threat. Sorry.
That's where I was thinking.
Triple threat, which one?
The Ronda.
Charlotte,
the
Ronda,
Becky. Becky 2 belts.
What, Mania 35?
Yeah.
I prefer this.
Nah. Better than that.
In the last 5, but I'd still prefer this. I thought this was
I agree.
Brilliant.
She's won. Go on, mate.
No, you carry on.
I was just going to say she's won every title there is now, Rhea, including the NXT Women's UK Women's belt,
which is good to see. She deserves it. She's always deserved that little rocket ship to her ass because she's good, and they've got her on a really good gimmick now because she was very, very obviously very plain when she came in, and so that to allow her, because they were trying to package her as something that she's not. Rhea Ripley now is something that she is as a person. Like they wouldn't allow. The reason she wears trousers, isn't it, is that they didn't want to show all her tattoos that she's got on her legs and stuff initially, but it's nice that they've just sort of put a bit of trust in her and let her sort of go with it.
Same question. We said about Dom leaving Judgment Day wouldn't work. Priest, I think, will be the same. Rhea is one that would be able to just go out and
Rhea can walk away now and have no issues. Yeah.
The fact that Rhea Ripley, by the way, is still only 26.
I know, it's crazy.
Is she really? Jesus. That's good.
One more question. Do you think she could be the most successful woman of all time? Will she ever be able to overtake Charlotte?
No.
Charlotte's getting that. She's keeping that title.
You reckon?
Title reign.
Yeah, 100%.
They're gonna have Charlotte.
100%. Like she'll be up there. Yeah. She'll be up there with. She will be the Randy Orton to the John Cena.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair comparison.
Charlotte will be the most successful Flair title reign was in the business.
Yeah, she's
What's she on now? 14.
Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna have more than her dad, thankfully. But
yeah, and that's what they'll give her. If anyone's gonna beat it, it'll be Charlotte because I don't see it being the guys.
I agree with them putting the title on Rhea. I think they made the best choice. That was the best outcome out of that fight, because Rhea is going to get more out of holding that title than Charlotte will right now.
But like you said, it was mentioned as well, Link. You said it, and I've said it for a while. To get that record, she needs to lose it and win it back.
Yeah.
And it will happen a few times.
I don't see her beating it. I think they'll equal it, and they'll keep 16 for the women, 16 for the men's.
I think Charlotte. They'll give it to Charlotte. Yeah, they'll have to give it to her.
She needs to be.
Charlotte's only 36, mate. She's still got another 5 years in her at least.
No.
The only worrying thing, there's rumours going around that she's wants a bit of a break.
But even still, a 5 year, like she's not going to be taking a 5 year break, is she? She's still got like if we said she's going to 41, which is still quite young. She probably could do more, which is still Shayna Baszler's age, by the way.
Yeah,
41.
It's crazy.
Why do you think that she needs to beat it?
Because we want to. It's not even that she needs to. It's because we want her to.
And
okay. No. Do you know what it is? In my opinion, the reason that she needs to beat it, because Flair's got a lot of negative press. Charlotte does not have that negative press. So having the person with the most world title reigns as someone with zero negative press would be a better move for a company than having someone like Ric Flair.
But they could do that with the men's, though.
They could, but they're not going to anytime soon.
I'm still not convinced, I think Randy Orton still was going to overtake Ric Flair's record.
He
only needs two.
He returns to wrestling.
Yeah, well, if he does, yeah. If he does, I think they could see him giving him 2 more
Cena
runs.
match it?
No, Cena's
matched it, yeah.
Oh, was he?
I thought he was one away.
I thought he was one behind.
Matched it. No, he's matched it. He's 16 as well.
I don't think Cena will pick up the world title again.
But I can see Orton winning twice.
And I don't know if Orton. They're still saying they're not sure whether he's.
If he comes back, I can see him winning it twice.
The thing that people forget as well is that Ric Flair's more than a 16-time world champion.
Yeah.
Like it's
also
just
a
that there are
scumbag.
16 times that they count.
He's also a complete.
It's only what they count. It's only what's in the record books.
And not only that, but if you want to count people with the most titles of all time, then Jerry Lawler's actually the top. So
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, in terms of titles in WWE, and it is Edge though. I think still, isn't it?
No, it's probably Cena.
Yeah.
No, I think Edge is high. I think Edge is higher. If you exclude the hardcore and things like that, 24/7s and all that. Not the hardcore. It was the hardcore, wasn't it?
I mean, to be fair, even if you include all of those, it's definitely going to be Edge.
True.
Cena wasn't around in that era.
Well, I mean, R-Truth has held a lot of 24/7 championships.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
And they're like 50 of them or something like that.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Daft.
We've gone very off topic, but let's get back on topic for a match that was very off topic and we weren't expecting. Because we had The Miz and Snoop Dogg cutting a lovely little promo. You missed it. You didn't.
The entrance, I did. I come back and I was.
He did miss the entrance.
I was just standing there going.
No, you
Let's
didn't.
get a drink or something.
He did.
You missed the entrance. You missed the
night.
entrance. You missed the entrance to the second night.
No, Shane. I stood there and Shane McMahon was in the ring, and I was like, "What?"
That wasn't this.
That
wasn't
this.
this.
First night.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you hadn't missed it. So the Miz versus Snoop Dogg, and then Pat McAfee.
It wasn't The Miz versus Snoop Dogg.
Sorry, Miz and Snoop Dogg, and then Pat.
Yeah, it was the attendance announcement.
Yes, and then Miz said that nobody answered his challenge, etc., for him having a match, and then Pat McAfee came out, and then we ended up with Pat McAfee and some. I'm gonna be harsh. I don't know who he was. He's nobody to me because I don't follow American football.
His old teammates.
He was I think it's is it the Philly 49ers? Is that the American? I can't remember which one's the NFL team. Is that the right number? But yeah, it's one of them.
Idea.
One of them anyway in a
49ers.
handicap match. But we ended up seeing Pat McAfee even at Mania, which I didn't see at all.
Made me very happy. I'm not gonna lie.
It was good to be back, but
do you know what?
I'm going to ask the question. Would you have rather not seen him?
I was going to say the very question.
I was so convinced that we were going to get Pat for night 2 and we didn't, and I was very disappointed by that we didn't get Pat on commentary. I was so hoping we would.
Here's one for you. I was kind of asked that. I was going to ask, would you have rather seen Pat, or would you have rather seen a bit of a debut from someone?
You're right. As much as I love Pat, it does feel a little bit wasted. It does, but you know what I mean. It does feel a little bit wasted. If that is,
I get the logic.
By the way,
I love Pat.
It's very possible that's the last time we ever see Pat in WWE.
It is. He has said that he's very undecided, and there is a big offer to not be in WWE.
He's more like because I know we said we'll talk about it, but the Endeavour deal that's going through with UFC, we're more likely to see the UFC commentary team crossing over than having someone like Pat again, which is.
And Pat's had a mega.
Let's not discourage it too much, mate. There is a few good guys on there actually. To be fair,
yeah, there is.
They are actually quite good at commentary and stuff. Pat is very good, but there is also guys that are capable of being better than Pat.
Pat has said he's had offers, and he couldn't do both because of his family, and it'd be spending too much time away. And he's had big offers to go and commentate on NFL.
It's a shame
show
for us. It's a shame for us. But yeah, that was that. And Pat's gone off into the sunset, and we may never see him again.
Yes.
But somebody that we're definitely going to see, because we saw them last night, is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos. See, as he said, and that time, Blink, you happy with me?
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. You remembered how to speak.
That's not always an easy thing to do, mate. I find that difficult sometimes. I'll be honest. I thought, and we'll get to the other one, I thought we were going to get one bloodline loss, one bloodline win. But I had this the wrong way round in my brain, and I predicted this way round, by the way.
I didn't.
I predicted this way round in the predictions, but when I was making the predictions, I was like, no, it's going to be the other way round. But I was playing our predictions games, and if you haven't already, and you've gone and watched this, because I'm going to try and put them all out in 3 different videos at the same time, go and watch our punishments videos, because we've got to do mustard.
Chili.
And
I've got to do mustard.
Wax strips. Hang on, wax strips. Please shut up. Wax strips. There we go. And so that's going to be fun. In about half an hour time, we're going to be doing that, which will be great.
Ow! I mean, yay!
But Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, was it everything we wanted with Sami getting his moment at last as a main eventer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There were certain times in this match as well that I didn't. I was like, is it going to go this way? This was told perfectly again.
They kept you guessing right until the very
So
end.
good. I loved this match. So many little spots. We never picked up on it. Michael Cole did though. Sammy kicked out of a 1D.
Mm-hmm.
No one kicks out of 1Ds.
There was a lot of kick outs in that match from things that we were just like, what? No.
It was so good.
Did you find it odd that there was 0 interference from the bloodline?
No.
I think no.
I kind of expected there to be, if that makes sense.
So
I think they were going to save that for night 2.
Yeah, that's
think
why.
I think Roman relies more on them backing him up than they rely on him backing
Yeah, I
them
suppose
up.
you're right.
I think for the story, it would have. If there was run-ins on both main events, it'd have been like really. But this worked.
Yeah, no, you're right. The fact that I just double check. So the Usos had the Raw for 316 days, and that was them with the SmackDown for 622 days. That's a long fucking time, and I'm okay with Kevin and Sami holding it for a little bit now, and I hope they do. I know Link, was it last night you suggested that there maybe could be transitional?
Mm-hmm.
Want to go into that a bit more? I don't see it myself.
We'll cover it when we go on to Raw.
Will we? I suppose, yeah.
Yeah,
I
mentioned it.
Yeah, it was actually. I thought it was over WrestleMania weekend. Sorry.
What a feel-good moment, because it come out that apparently the crowd was singing Sami Zayn's music for 2 hours in the streets after the event.
That's
Jeez.
bonkers, isn't it?
That's how over he was.
In all fairness, I know that's crazy, but in all fairness, I remember when American Alpha came over here years ago, and I still sing Gable now.
But like you said, they were so over
this is what 7 years later. So
you have to be something special. It has to be a special moment Like you said, that was a mental moment when that was going on.
It was fucking crazy, really, really crazy. But
it's just like the Hey Bailey chants as well.
Yeah,
they
is,
survived.
Exactly like that. Yeah. I think I don't want to take anything away from this match because it was very, 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 very good. For me, it was very predictable. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Look, Sammy lost at Elimination Chamber. They couldn't let him lose again. It needed to go the good way for a change. Especially if they're going to have this rivalry continue in any sort of capacity, which bad looks of it they are. Yeah, I enjoyed the match, and I think the right result was what happened. So.
I think that's as long as you get that from a main event. I think that's what it's about, really, because that's what you remember. Is you don't really necessarily remember all of the match of the main event. You just remember, if that was the right result in that moment of feeling, which it was.
Yeah.
It was time.
I like it's been unpredictable, but I've got to admit, I have to admit, that we weren't too sure of the running order of the Mania until after predictions were done. The minute I found out this was main event, Sammy and Kevin Owens were winning.
Yeah.
I see. For me, I don't think it would have mattered where it was on the card. I think it was always going to win anyway. So
It just was.
I
think Rhea's so over as well. They still had that go home feel good factor if Rhea had won as the main event.
On the main event.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered so much. I agree there.
The minute it went main event, we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed the feel good finish, especially considering how night 2 finished.
Yeah.
Well, that made night 2 predictable for me then.
Let's move to night 2 then. So Brock Lesnar versus Omos started the match. Started the show. And do you know what? I'm gonna be nice. I thought this was gonna be dog shit.
It wasn't.
Brock really is a beast.
It was all right. It wasn't. It was nowhere near the worst worst match of the night. And I'm including Miz's one in this one as well, obviously, because I'm not actually. That'd be a bit harsh to include Miz's one, but yeah, Brock Lesnar versus Omos. It was good. That's probably the best I've seen Omos for maybe ever.
He looked strong. One of the very first moves was literally picking up and tossing. Brock off.
What?
Over.
Hey!
Off wasn't the right word.
And tossing Brock to the other side of the ring. Just literally throwing him like he was a toy.
Stop sending me porn.
That's the problem. We heard that so much over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, that was a good thing. Anybody got anything to add about this one? Because I thought it was very quick, very good match. Not very good match. It was a good match.
It was exactly what was needed. It was the dominance from Omos being able to show that he was big and strong, and then Brock just overcoming the odds and dominating to get the victory. I think the F5 was a little bit sloppy. Personally, it was good, but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
I think if they'd have given that just that little bit more practice, Brock's got the strength to lift him.
Yeah.
I personally would have preferred if they'd have probably got that a little bit crisper. But other than that, I thought it was great. It was a great match, the right result.
Do you think the result shows a lack of faith in Omos as well?
No.
I think the result shows that Brock just signed a new contract. I think that's what the result shows, to be deadly honest, because I think Omos was going to win that until Brock signed his contract.
Brock is essentially a veteran in the industry right now. Omos is up and coming.
Your dog looking here.
Yes.
I think to give Omos a Mania match, an opening Mania match against Brock Lesnar, shows they've got faith in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyone could have took that match, but
I don't think Omos did bad last night. I don't think Omos did bad at all. I think he's and obviously they continued to give him another match on Raw as well. So it's not like they're just like, oh, he's lost, he's buried, that's him gone.
The way I see it,
they pulled him straight back in and put him straight into another match on the show on that weekend. I think that they've still got faith in Omos. I think that there's potential for Omos, and I'll be deadly honest. I think that this changed my opinion of Omos slightly because I think he'd got to a point where he'd become dog shit, and this match was good for him.
Faith in Omos in what respect, though? What do you see? What have they got in store for him? What do you want to see from him?
So I know what it initially was because it was me that was pushing for it initially. So I'm going to just jump in before Link carries on. That Omos was mega over, and it all started because of me saying that I thought he'd be really, really good future. Because I had a couple of people. There was Baba Tundi, and Omos, and that's why we're saying he's restoring the faith in him because we actually thought he'd be a world champion.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Do you know what? There's a lot of people that didn't even get onto this Mania card. Some really good wrestlers that could have took a spot that didn't get on the card. To give Omos a spot shows that, do you know what? We're going to have a bit of faith in him and just make him look strong because he was still made to look strong. Picking up Brock and throwing him around made him look strong. Mm-hmm. And you'll get him come in, and I think you'll see him go on a bit of a rampage and just destroying wrestlers, just battering them.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I thought that this was going to involve the Hurt Business. I thought that that's the way that they're going to try and have him go over Brock at all, or even have some sort of momentum on Brock. But no, they left Omos to do it all himself, and I think he kind of showed up and he did well. As for having faith in him, do I see him being a future world champion? Probably not. Do I see him being a credible competitor to go against a face champion in the future? Yes, definitely. He will play the Great Khali role when Khali came in and dominated and beat the Undertaker, and when he came in and had the matches against Cena for the title and things.
Well, he's just going to be another Big Show.
Not even Big Show. I like
without a title, Big Show without the main title.
Well, no, because the Big Show was better. I'll be honest.
Do you know what I'm seeing? I see the strength of someone like, remember the Mark Henry roles?
Mm-hmm.
The powerhouse that way.
Yeah,
I can see him doing that.
That's it. And Khali, because Khali got that role as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think Khali is the best way to do it, except he speaks English. That's the biggest difference. You imagine a great Khali that speaks English, and
was good.
Well, I'll make a little bet with you now. I reckon he's not there in 5 years' time.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that. 5 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Right, 3 then.
Big
guys
don't tend to last very long.
But he's only 28, though.
I think he'll be around for a while.
But big guys don't tend to last very long because their knees go anyway, and he's very, very tall.
I think he'll be around as a powerhouse kind of role.
Oh, that's a good transition, that, Pete. Powerhouses. Because the powerhouses of the next match, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, defeated Liv Morgan Raquel, Natalya and Shotzi, and Chelsea and Sonya Deville.
I was very bored during this fight.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
No, but let's not be harsh. We said
it wasn't a bad match.
This was the best match I thought probably at least 5 or 6 of them have put on, if ever, in the main roster. Like, the match itself was good. It was better as a match than the day before's match of Trish Lita and Becky against Damage Control.
Yeah, it was.
I thought.
I think the important takeaway from this match for me was that I'm pretty sure that Shayna got injured.
Which is why that's a good point, actually, because I was going to say I didn't understand what was happening on Raw. I do now, because they were supposed to be having a title shot, Ronda and Shayna, but they're not going to be able to now.
I do. The only thing bad about this one, I'd say it was the most predictable match of the weekend.
Yes, but it's just a shame that Shayna's done whatever she's done. It looked bad.
The boot come off.
Has anyone heard any news on what has happened?
No.
It's actually the one person I've not heard anything on injuries.
Any reports on? No,
yeah, very strange. But it does coincide with what happened on Raw as well. So weird. Best match, or not? Sorry, what the match I thought was going to be the best match of the weekend, and it probably wasn't the best match, but it was still a very, very good match. Gunther, Sheamus, Drew. I was convinced Sheamus was getting the win, and it's nice that they're going to put some faith in Gunther. I can't lie, to put him up there with the likes of, for me, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler as some of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time.
I'm going to be very careful what I say about this, because I do want to do something with a video of champions and who's going to beat certain champions. And if I go too much into this, it gives up too much of my prediction.
Okay, so
I really liked it though. I think it went the right way.
I actually agree. I initially didn't think it was going the right way, and I thought Sheamus was the one, but I actually think Gunther is the right one. Action.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin Pete's video and just say that I think Sheamus is taking it Money in the Bank.
No.
Because they'll have the rematch in the UK, and because obviously that's what happened at Clash. It'll be the same thing again, but it'll happen the other way around this time. But honestly, I think it was done. It was done very well. The match was very good. You mentioned earlier about maybe the possibility of putting someone like Ilya Dragunov in that match, or putting someone else in that match as well, making it a full weight. I don't think it was necessary. To be honest,
no, I didn't mean that it was unnecessary to do it. Yeah. I was just thinking, is it something that you would like to see again with the four of them?
I definitely would like to see Dragunov involved in any match against any of those three, for sure.
For me personally, I'd have taken Drew out of that match because I don't think he was necessary.
He was the weak
I just don't see Drew being necessary in that match.
Did Gunther not pin Drew?
Yeah. I think
that's where I'd argue that Drew was in there for to take the.
I'd say also.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong if he did.
No, you did. Okay. I'd take the big spot as well of Drew, Sheamus having it won, and Drew stopping that, putting him out. Mm-hmm. That was a big bit for that story.
Yeah. Like I get the storyline build. Just for me, the match itself, and to watch a match, I don't think it was. I'm sorry, I just looked into Tish's face that made me giggle. She looks fucking dead.
It didn't need Drew in the actual match. Yeah,
that's all right. No one else can see her. Stop spoiling it for everyone because it'll surprise them when she does appear again.
But Tish talk.
She's refusing. She's shaking her head. She's shaking her head. She's going, no, don't want to play.
There we go.
No, it didn't work. It didn't work because I was talking. Sorry. But yeah, it was a good match, and as we expected. Bianca versus Asuka was up next, though. Raw Women's Championship. To be honest, I feel like they're wasting Asuka.
No.
So does Asuka.
She really does, doesn't she?
That is all part of the storyline. This is why they're doing it. They're going to have Asuka go absolutely crazy and start just not terrorizing me.
But Pete, I get what you're saying there, and I see your logic. But the problem with that is she'd just come back with this refreshed gimmick, and she's come back with the extra makeup. She's come back to the old Asuka, the ass-kicking Asuka, the badass Asuka that we needed. And then they've shit on it straight away, and it's just like, what?
Yep.
Why?
They've just completely wasted their time with this gimmick.
I don't see that. To then say, but she needs a refresh and she's going to come back being crazy.
I think she's
had a fucking refresh.
I think she's coming.
She's come back from a refresh to lose to then have another refresh.
I can see her coming back, staying with this gimmick she's got now. But I can see her going backstage and just start walking around backstage and just beating the hell out of people.
Yeah, she'll go on the
until she gets the title shot.
She'll go on the
demand another.
And I think her taking a more aggressive approach will make her look stronger, and it'll put her back in title contention, and give her a higher chance of actually getting.
I'm still hoping she comes out with this more aggressive approach, which then pushes Bianca to have a more aggressive approach. I think that's what Bianca needs.
Yeah, Bianca's danced away with the title for too long.
I've made it no secret that I think Bianca's done. It's time for her to push off into the distance for a little while and come back with a bit of a refresh. I'm not saying she needs to off and retire or anything. She just needs some time away from the title,
but they're not
and refresh that gimmick because the gimmick's shite.
I would like to thank Bianca because I think it was pretty much because of Bianca. Yes. I don't need to do extra.
Yeah, so make sure you go and watch that video. That's what Pete's saying. But yeah, match was all right. But it's just 5-0 for Asuka, or 0-5 is just terrible for Asuka.
It's very harsh. It is harsh.
We then had probably the shock of the weekend. Genuinely the shock of the weekend. Miz and Snoop Dogg cut in promo. The whole attendance, and then it was.
I missed this.
They started talking about my bad, and then Snoop Dogg was like, "No. My bad," points at the stage. Here comes the money. Shane fucking comes out. I was like, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting that at all.
I honestly thought it was going to be Bad Bunny.
It would have made more sense, my bad Bunny. And then it was Shane. He runs to the ring, or walks to the ring, gets to the ring. They start a match.
He comes off the ropes a couple of times.
He comes off the rope, leapfrogs over Miz, lands and blows his. I think he blew his ACL or something.
ACL.
Quad.
Yeah,
Quad's
gone.
But yeah, he absolutely fucked it. And then the Snoop Dogg, on the fly, from what I gather, has saved the whole segment.
No, I think it was the ref.
It's the ref. Jessica Carr is the referee, and she apparently had managed to speak to Snoop and told him what to do.
But he still nailed it. He still did the whole rock.
I wonder whose idea it was for the people's elbow.
Slowest people elbow ever.
It was great though. You got to remember, we were in Hollywood. He nailed it. Like it was. He had all the all of the mannerisms for it.
Coming off the second rope with the little ball.
And it wasn't just that. He'd hit him with a couple of strong punches
big
as well.
Shots.
Yeah, and it was
big shots.
Yeah.
Trips come out afterwards and said that he was known Snoop Dogg for years. He's always been a big fan.
Oh, he's a born entertainer.
He said to go out and do that has now gave him that level of respect, and it would have in the locker room to go out and try and help recover that. He goes, because there's guys in the back there that have been experienced for a long time would have gone, what do I do?
Yeah,
for him to go out and do it.
Yeah.
What he's like, the guy is amazing.
For me,
I think a fan of the business would have known what to do. I think a fan of the business would have known what to do.
He's an actual trained professional.
That's it, yeah.
That's the point I was making, because of being a fan, he knew what to do.
The thing is that now, I think for saving that little segment and saving the whole, because that could have been just a disaster.
It was going to be.
I think that gives him the right to be able to be called the Hall of Famer, Snoop Dogg now. Because he's had it for a long time. You're like, why is he Hall of Famer? Why is he Hall of Famer? I was like, do you know what?
Because he fell asleep once at ringside.
Yeah, and then he went to that, and I was like, no, do you know what? Snoop Dogg deserves the credit for this now. He deserves some credit.
He deserves the Hall of Famer, though. He's the Dogfather.
The Dogfather.
The Dogfather, love it, yeah. And then we had another injury following this. Edge versus the Demon Finn. Hell in a Cell match. We don't throw weapons is something that I know. Why are we throwing? So we started throwing chairs, which was bad enough. And then we throw a fucking ladder.
Throw them all.
Oh. Yeah, no, Finn cut open like a little can opener. It was a lot of blood, because I didn't realise until I edited the TikToks that I was doing something else. All of you fuckers decided that right that minute was the time to look at your phones. Like, literally all of you. And I look back, and I'm like, there's blood all over the thing. I looked back, and I was like, there's blood all over the canvas.
Yeah. I think with the makeup...
you lot were like, I was like, what's happened? And I sort of, I'm not sure if I said it out loud or not. I was like, what's happened? And then, like, we actually had to watch it on the replay, and you can see it on the TikTok. We had to watch it on the replay. Because all these fuckers weren't doing their job. I was trying to do my job, and they were like, no, I'm going to look at my phone during a hard-hitting...
I got the attention of a
violence.
5-year-old.
And it was like, oh...
All right.
I think with the makeup, you didn't realise how bad it was at first. Because it was sort of red and black makeup.
I did, because I saw the map!
No, on his actual head.
I couldn't tell that it was that bad at all. But yeah, obviously we've seen the picture since.
It disguised it well in the moment, but when you saw the backstage photo, you were like, holy shit.
Yeah. Don't forget, for a lot of that time, they just literally wouldn't put the camera on him.
Well, you knew it was bad.
They kept him off camera the whole time.
There was a lot of blood.
Edge did quite well again. Just trying to like fiddling with things to try and make it look like he was busy and just to. Because it was awkward. It was awkward. Like there's not a lot else he could have done.
Well, you think they had to unlock the cage as well before they even got into him. So that took out another 30 seconds they didn't need to.
Because at one point it was so well done. At one point we was like, "Is this part of the match?"
I knew it wasn't.
I honestly thought there was going to be some sort of interference,
especially when the cage was open. And I was like, "Hold on, are they setting up for something?"
Yeah,
but
that match was 100% cut short though.
And then Finn Balor, but it was only a flesh wound.
I don't agree.
I think it went the right amount of time.
If you look at it as it's still the second longest match of the night, I don't think it was cut short. I think they cut out a couple of bigger spots.
A couple of spots. Yeah,
because
that's because the time was used for waiting.
And I think they weren't entirely convinced that they couldn't guarantee that Finn wasn't concussed.
Yeah.
So they rather than having a couple of bigger spots, which I think they were gonna have, but they cut them out.
They still give him the spot jumping off the middle of the cage.
Yeah.
The The only match that went short over the weekend, because I've read the stats and things. The only match that went short over the whole weekend was Theory versus Cena.
Okay.
That actually went short. That was supposed to go longer.
Weird. Cena was fucked. On to the main event then. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Something Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes had very little pyro actually to start off the. I know you hate me. Started off when his entrance. I was thinking, oh yeah, no.
Sorry, what?
He didn't have.
I thought he was going to have a lot more pyro.
More pyro.
There was
pyro.
a massive lack of pyro considering it was Mania. I didn't think there was that
Well,
much pyro.
I was convinced that we were going to have less pyro for Cody at the start, and then we were going to have big pyro for when he wins.
Because we had more for Roman's entrance.
Just going to point this out because I don't think that you guys you've properly thought about this and realised it. But SoFi Stadium's an indoor stadium.
But even they also still were able to do other fireworks. There wasn't as many as you'd expect. To be fair, mate.
No, but that might be why there was less pyro.
Potentially. But
how many times in
enclosed space.
previous Manias have they put pyro on the roof and then cut to an outdoor shot?
But most of those are not closed roof manias.
It would be a bit pointless.
And you'd be able to see it from inside still as well. But yes, they have done that in the past.
Although from what I've seen, SoFi is actually open-sided, which is fucking strange. So like when you're at the top,
it's just like a canopy over the top.
Yeah, it's really weird because apparently they were saying that they were getting drenched. Some people were getting drenched there before WrestleMania, and they hope it didn't rain.
They still did that for Charlotte. Titch.
Yeah.
When Charlotte's pyro went off, they were going off above her outside of the thing.
I'll tell you what, it comes to something when we're looking at the amount of pyro somebody's getting to determine whether they're going to win or not.
I mean, when you look at
Mania,
look
back 10 years and there was no pyro at all. So I'm just grateful that we've got pyro.
It always used to be whoever got the best of the situation that they were in before the pay-per-view would be the one to lose. Yeah.
But yes, and then the one Roman had a pretty cool entrance. I can't lie.
I loved it.
Don't get me wrong, they were electric keyboards, as pointed out, that were described as pianos. But the entrance was very good, playing his music live, cutting to him. I'll be honest.
Better if they'd have got his family involved in that entrance, to be honest with you. But
I'm not entirely sure whether the match lived up to my expectations before the interference or not.
I'll tell you what did.
I'm going to say it now. What's that?
Paul Heyman. His facial expressions are still second to none.
It's bad.
Amazing,
I could sit here and praise Paul Heyman all day and be like, yeah, he's absolutely brilliant, all this every time. But I come to expect it now, so it's harder to praise sometimes. It's nicer when you get that bigger shock. The match itself, I thought was going to be an absolute stonking match. Maybe potentially had potential for be a ridiculously good match. Potentially even pushing match of the year, or even be in the consideration.
That's the issue, though,
but it wasn't, and I was like, oh.
That's the issue, though. You know, when expectations are so high, how do you live up to them?
Exactly. You know, you are 100% right there, Titch. That is all on me and takes nothing away from this match itself.
But what did you want to see then to make that better in your eyes for you?
It wasn't, for me, it wasn't take away the big fucking tractor. It wasn't SummerSlam Brock level for me. I think I preferred that one as a match.
Okay.
I enjoyed the feeling of that whole pay-per-view more.
It was more of a big fight feel.
Yeah.
This wasn't that much of it. I know. For some people, it would have been. For me, I just don't see Cody as the main event.
Not right now. I don't either. So this result of Roman getting the win, for me, was right.
It was perhaps alluding to. So yeah, that makes sense. And I don't disagree either.
Do you know what I'm going to take away from it, though?
What's that?
I did like to see not just Solo as an enforcer, but Solo as that sneaky heel. Just like the grabbing of the foot, little bits of bits
Yeah.
like that. I think that really worked.
And it was
not just punching people; it's the sneakiness.
It's nice that we're carrying on the storyline between KO and Sammy and the Usos as well, and that's going to be a thing going forward. We're long-term story building with this, and I know people. I watched I was on people's TikTok lives after the stream last night, and the amount of people that just can't grasp the fact that it's long-term booking. Cody Rhodes will be a world champion. No doubt.
Yeah.
He will win. He will win it within the next... I think will probably win it within the next year, maybe year and a half. Not saying he's necessarily the next, based on what happened on Raw.
Yeah, he won't
night.
beat Roman for it.
Possibly not. But he's still going to be world champion.
It's coming at some point.
Yeah, and I wouldn't stress yourselves on it, you know. Roman last night, in the grand picture of things, is the correct result. No doubt.
Can I make a prediction for that as well?
If you want, I'm just glad I might get to my 1,000 days predictions that I made at SummerSlam.
If they are going to split the belts, we're obviously about to go into a Brock versus Cody program.
Spoilers, bro! That was the only good thing that happened on Raw.
Sorry, but we're obviously going to go into that. Brock can't challenge Roman for the title.
No, he can't. The undisputed.
If
But
they
he can
if they
challenge
split
Cody when Cody wins
if
it.
they split the titles, I see Cody getting another shot at some point for the WWE title.
And he'll win that.
And Brock screwing Roman just to make sure that Cody gets the belt and he can then attack him. He can then go for the belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I see that going.
I'm just very proud of myself. It's looking like I might get that 1,000-day Universal though.
I tell you what, this fits perfectly into SmackDown though, because the one Raw, because the one bit I did see was they've actually started mentioning the days.
I have noticed that.
They know, yeah.
So maybe they're actually going to acknowledge him now.
Yeah, they're
as a
getting.
1,000-day champ.
They should do, and I knew they would.
Get into 1,000 days now.
Last night they actually mentioned Triple H exactly how many days he was on.
Yeah, 976 yesterday.
Yeah, he's 100% getting there. 4th of June, I think it is.
Okay, so for me,
it'd be less than 976, wouldn't it?
So going back to the Roman Cody fight, so for me personally, you might agree, you might not agree. I agreed that they should have kept the title on Roman, but do you not think it's making him look weaker having to rely on interference?
I think it's making him. Yeah, I'm thinking it makes him more of a heel champion.
Yeah, it is playing into the heel, but I'd
weaker.
like to see him get a clean win.
And we'll have one of those between now and the time he loses it. I think we will.
Just one clean win, and he hasn't had one for so long.
I think he'll have one more defense.
He's had to rely on the Usos and Solo to come in and interfere in some way. Just give him one clean win.
I think he's been built in such a way, though, that he at any point he could have a clean win on his own.
Yeah, it'd make no difference.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I don't
I just want.
Titch, can I just say, I think that the reason that they're doing what they're doing there and having someone interfere in every single one of his matches is to build his reliance on the bloodline, to make it out that the bloodline's the most important thing, so that when the bloodline eventually starts to fall apart, it makes more sense that that's when he loses the belt. It's like the whole bringing down the bloodline, bringing down Roman bit by bit, stage by stage, which is starting with the Usos. Clearly, like we are starting to tear that apart.
You know, I've got a really beautiful transition here now, but I know we're not talking about Raw right now.
Go on, we'll talk about Raw. Go on, we can include them both as Link started already.
That segment with the Usos and Paul outside the locker room, where he basically just shunned them, sent them on their jolly way, and then as he's walking in, my tribal chief, they're gone. It's like, whoa. Yeah. He's already like, yeah, you're of no use to me anymore. Go away.
I think that's always been a thing with Paul though as well, and I think it's definitely going to come into play a lot more, especially now that we're going to end up with Brock potentially being about the picture as well again.
Just that little moment.
The Heyman, the cracks are going to start showing, and it's going to be really good, I think. So.
I honestly predicted that Roman was going to just have it out with him in the ring and say, I got the job done. Why couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that might still happen.
In the family.
I think that'll happen on SmackDown, because obviously we had Cody come out last night for Raw. and being backed up by Brock. And then we had that set as main event, Brock and Cody versus Roman and Solo. And then that match never started because Brock's turned on Cody instead. It's like,
yeah,
okay, I didn't see this coming. Like, okay, we'll do this. So I think we'll end up with Roman addressing people on Friday, and we'll probably see more of that, and that'll be more of the fallout from that really than last night was. What else happened on Raw actually? Whilst we're talking about, KO and Sammy won, but was theirs for the title? No, theirs wasn't.
Yes.
Wasn't.
Yes. They issued an open challenge and the Street Profits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Riddle's back.
Yeah.
Have you noticed when anyone makes a return or there's a surprise impromptu match,
you disappear?
It's against the Miz.
Oh right.
It's always against
we
the
had
Miz.
We had issues last night with Virgin Media, so Link and Pete had a rather bit of a shit show of being able to
number
watch
one
it.
hashtag Virgin Media.
Yeah, and
the fact that I still managed to stream through because I was in charge of the actual Twitch stream was just weird.
We have had a face off between Rhea and Bianca though, so I think we possibly might get that match happening soonish.
Champ versus
filler match.
Yeah, it won't be for the titles. They will combine them. Yeah. And we have had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez winning against Damage Control, which will give them the title shot. Because I think
that was the nail.
That was supposed to be Shayna and Ronda 100%. But because of that injury, they've decided they can't. Well, they just can't. It's not decided, they just can't. And to be honest, that's all that happened on Raw.
You might still end up with Shayna and Ronda coming out and interfering in that match next week when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, if they're back, if Shayna's ready by then.
If Shayna can walk, because it did look very bad.
Yeah. But even if it was just very badly twisted or something, it's still only a day or two. It's going to be too early. Give it a week for it to calm down.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, well that's good. What was your final thoughts on the whole weekend, though, as a whole? Was it worth throwing out our sleep schedules?
I thought I'd enjoy Mania, and I weren't too sure about the rest. Hall of Fame, I loved. NXT, I really, really enjoyed. Mania, I enjoyed. So yeah, it was well worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say
Tell you what. Let's do this. There's 6 shows.
What, rank them?
Rank them. Worst to best.
Raw was worst.
Yep.
SmackDown.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Night.
No. Standard. No.
Night 2
of Mania. Yeah. Night 2 of Mania.
And Standard Deliver. Night 1 for Mania.
I'd agree with that. Actually. Yeah.
I 100%. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty unanimous, and it's a fair way of talking about it. Yeah. Good pay-per-view, a good weekend all round, and I'm looking forward to whatever happens next, to be honest.
Yeah. Was anyone else like me? I was looking forward to Mania, but I wasn't like properly hyped for it until a couple of days before. It was like, it's Mania, let's go.
It was, and I keep going back to it. I was really nervous for NXT.
I haven't
watched a lot.
I
haven't watched a lot for it, but I loved it, and I think that set me on right. Okay, now this is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat, Pete. NXT, I was a bit nervous for NXT because I haven't watched it. I wasn't up to date. I was nervous for SmackDown because I was like, if this is bad, it's going to put everyone in the stream in a bad mood, and then we're going to carry that through the weekend. Hall of Fame. I mean, Hall of Fame is more of a. I've always enjoyed Hall of Fame anyway because I like that side of the business. I enjoy watching that side of the business. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. I get that.
I did say with the Hall of Fame as well. I think it's got to a stage now where we're at that age. A lot of the people going in there are people that we can connect with because we watched. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Night 1 was just fucking unreal. Like it was very, very good. There wasn't a bad match on the card.
No, it wasn't.
Every single match was great.
They built up from Cena, which was the word people criticised, but they built up all the way through.
Yeah, it was the worst match of that night. was the Cena match, and it was still a good match. It did exactly what it was meant to do. For me, I still think that they should have done the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match before the Charlotte Rhea match.
That's something I agree with. To be honest, the world title should always.
I said going into it, the women should have.
Yeah,
the women's match should have main evented that.
Yeah,
I understand why it didn't. There was more story, there was more emotion, there was more build for the tag match. But I just personally, the winner of the Rumble should get the main event Mania, and the fact that they didn't, I don't agree.
It's a fair final
assessment, didn't they? Yeah, Triple H spoke about that, and they asked him why didn't they, and he said for him, the finish of Mania, what he wants going forward is whoever the biggest story, they've put the most work into that. The way he sees it going forward is the bigger the story, the bigger finale that deserves all the headline.
Yeah, he said that in the press conference, didn't he? He said it was the bigger storyline going in.
It's all about the story. It's the telling of the story, not
it was the bigger story going in, so it made more sense for it to be the main event. And I do see that logic. I don't disagree with it completely. I
wonder if that's something we're going to see going forward.
Yeah.
But you might be nicely looking more into telling the story rather than having these short, irrelevant feuds.
It certainly looks that way from what we've seen this year so far. Building longer stories seems to be something that they are looking into doing. So fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Can I just say thank you to Titch and Phil for joining us on this for the podcast.
No worries.
It's a very, very long podcast. You are going to hopefully, Phil, you're going to stick around for the punishments to watch us suffer.
Absolutely, yes.
Good. So watch us suffer. So make sure if you come and watch the punishments as well. That'll probably already be out there. Hopefully I should get them all out around the same sort of time on the channel. We should have 3 videos going up around the same time. So it keeps Mania fresh in everyone's mind, but they're there for the future forever then.
Guys, don't forget to drop the guys a like as well. Any interaction on these videos massively helps them.
She's stealing my shit! Have you noticed this? She's stealing my... I was going to say, please leave a like.
Next.
Yeah, that's your job. Steal off the link. Please leave a like, share, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.
In the comments, tell us what order you'd put them in over the weekend. What was your favourite matches?
And who had the nicest bum?
Who had the sweatiest bum?
Oh. That's like Otis. No.
Oh. Bye.
Peace.
Yeah.
Hello. We've got to say Endeavour bought WWE and they're doing something with UFC now. We forgot to talk about it. Bye.
So WWE, best of luck with your future endeavour.